Hey, this is Galdoc from the Project Brutality development team, and I wanted to share with you some of the progress we've been making on version 3.0 over the course of the past year. It's been kind of a rough year for all involved, but this is a passion project, and so we have not given up. In fact, we have continued to meet every single week so the developers can share what we have done and what we plan to do. In addition, we also have a public Discord where you can come and play the free alpha. It's full of bugs, but keep in mind this is a passion project, so enjoy, keep some perspective, and remember we got nothing but love for all of you. And if you're at all interested, I do still stream on Twitch. I don't really have a set schedule because, as I said earlier, it has been kind of a rough year. But if you want to see me do some of the weapon animations that you've probably come to either love or hate, click on the link in the description below, and I'll see you there. With all that out of the way, I want to show you some of the cool stuff we've been working on. The first feature I wanted to show off was the updated Weapon Special button and the Equipment Selection wheel. So if you want to find these, you go under Options, Customize Controls, and look under Activate Weapon Special and Equipment Selection wheel. Activate Weapon Special for most weapons does just what it used to. For the DMR, it'll swap to dual wielding. Most weapons in Project Brutality have a weapon special, and pressing it will either set to dual wield or a mode swap or whatever. However, there were some limitations, notably with the pistol. With the pistol, we have the problem of wanting to be able to do a lot of stuff with it. We had a silencer, we have the ability to dual wield, but the problem was that the weapon special button only lets you do one thing. And so what we used to do was to say, let the weapon special do dual wielding and have alt fire put on a silencer. That worked for a while, but it was really not what we wanted. So what we've done is implemented a weapon special wheel. So now, with the pistol, if you press the same Activate Weapon Special button, you'll get the weapon wheel. Here, you can do the silencer, dual wielding, and even the new thing we've added, which is burst fire. It's pretty cool. All that's rolled into the weapon wheel. You should only see the weapon wheel in weapons that have more than one mode or that have more than one type of mode. So for example, dual wielding or whatever. But that also means that we've now freed up the alt fire. So if we go here, you can now aim down sights. And yes, these things work together. So I can say a suppressor and burst fire and do everything you thought you might want to. So the pistol is now an incredibly versatile weapon. Also, one little hidden detail, you can change the way that aim down sights works with weapons from either a toggle, which is kind of how I have it set here, or you can set it up to be a hold button. And the place you find that at is under Options, Full Options menu, Project Brutality Settings, Gameplay Settings, and it's right here under Set Aiming Mode to Hold. If you set it on, back all the way back out, now it is a hold button rather than a toggle button. I know the menus are a little bit chaotic right now and somewhat disorganized. That is a thing on our list to do, but it's very hard to say what and when is going to happen. But just in case you wanted to use that feature, there it is. The sister feature is the Equipment Selection wheel. If you go here, you can see the Stun Grenade, Proximity Mine, the Frag Grenade, and the Leech Grenade. Pretty much it's exactly what you would expect. The Frag Grenade is, well, it's a frag grenade. Boom. The Proximity Mine, you throw them, they blow up when enemies come near, or you can go use them and get them back. You also have the Stun Grenade, does kind of what you would expect. It stuns enemies, then it can go blow them up. And you've also got the Leech Grenade, which is sort of a grenade, but basically you use it and I guess it just sucks energy from people. If you want to get these in the cheat mode, you go into here. It doesn't happen under Give All. You have to go Give Leech Grenade. Next new feature is actually pretty small but handy. It's a dash, and you can use it while running forward or strafing to the sides. You cannot use it while just standing there, and you can't use it while jumping, but it is pretty handy. Has a little tiny cooldown, but you just give it a second and you are good to go again. If you want to set it, it's under Options, Customize Controls. Under Project Brutality, you'll see Dash. Under the heading of new features, we have new graphics for a bunch of the weapons. Some of them, like the MP40 here, remain the same right now, but like the Hell Rifle looks great. And some of the mid-tier weapons, like the Freeze Rifle, the Railgun, some of the Plasma Rifles, the Grenade Launcher, and a bunch of these weapons down here. All of these have brand new graphics. So enjoy those. We do also have voxels for some of these, but those are still being developed right now, and I want to show them off when we have more to show you. But suffice it to say, we've got a lot of progress there too. That actually brings us to the next one, which are some of the new weapons. The Freezer is the first one I'll show you. As you can see, it's got new animations. Functionally, it's largely the same weapon, but it looks a lot nicer, and you can kind of see some of what you're doing here. The alt fire is still the pistol, so you can freeze an enemy and then shoot their whatever remains, their frozen corpse. You also have the other mode, which is the beam mode, which allows you to do that thing right there. And its alt fire is also the pistol. So there are a whole bunch of new graphics that have gone along with it. These are animations that I personally did. I didn't make these sprites myself. Those were done by the sprite team. But yeah, I've been doing a whole lot of work to make sure that it has pretty much everything you could possibly want here in terms of animations. So good times. The next one is the Railgun. This has been sort of a pet project of the Project Brutality team. Metalman did a whole bunch of sprites. He's one of the spriting devs on the team. And he was begging me to animate this thing. And frankly, I was really chomping at the bit to animate it. Took quite a lot of time, but here it is. This is the Railgun. It has a new feature and a whole lot of brand new graphics. As you can see, a whole lot of love went into this. And it feels great to use. It's very strong, just like you would expect. But yeah, we've done a couple of tweaks to how it fires to make it even more satisfying. It has a scope, and you can sort of see the refire time there. And this also gives you a good idea of what the kickback looks like, because as you can sort of see, these 3 shots here were all fired. I did not move the mouse between them. So yeah, good times. However, you probably want to know what the new firing mode is. It is a contact laser, essentially the part of the BFG that we sheared off and put onto here. So you'll be using this a lot more. It can fire really quick little bursts, or you can charge it up. Do be aware that once you've started charging it, you cannot stop. You just have to go to the completion and boom, you'll fire. It still has the scope like you would expect. So there you go. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy it. This is one of my favorite weapons, although it was a complete nightmare to animate. This animation right here has something like 70 layers in it. So yeah, good times. The next weapon I wanted to show off is the rocket launcher. It looks great. This is, however, more than just a reskin. The person who did the sprites is Carrot. I did the animations. And though it has all the old features you've come to know and love, we packed in a couple of new ones and have plans to add in a couple more. To start off with, it behaves like the normal rocket launcher, where you lean on the trigger and you fire a whole bunch of rockets. As you can see, we got 6 in the chamber. But you also have the ability to load more than 1 in the chamber at a time, between 2 and 3. Can be added at any time. You've got that normal spread pattern there. You've also got the spiral pattern there. If you load some in the chamber and press primary fire while it's there, you will toggle to and fro the spiral firing pattern. But that is not the only feature we've added. If you look at the other modes, for example, laser rocket mode, you will fire a rocket and you can make this thing fly around and do all sorts of fun stuff. Whee! Good times. In this mode, you can still load more than 1 rocket in, and it will sort of automatically default to that spiral firing pattern. It's always fun. But we've also updated the lock-on feature. So if you go to lock-on mode, you can paint and lock on targets. So normally it doesn't do anything, but if you hold Alt Fire, it will start painting targets. And if you click primary fire, you will lock onto a painted target. You can paint more than 1 target and lock onto more than 1 target and give a couple of people a bad day. Or you can lock onto the same target multiple times and give them a really bad day. So as you can see, this is a pretty versatile weapon. And there are a couple of new things we want to add into it, but that's going to come probably in 2021 because we have just basically been working as hard as we can, and this is the progress we have right now. So go play with it, enjoy, but expect something cool down the pike. The next update is the Chain Gun and Deathdealer. Oh my. We've got some new graphics for the Chain Gun coming soon, but we've started with some new graphics for the Deathdealer. Now it actually makes a lot of sense to swap between the different modes. So right now we have Gatling mode, Chain Gun mode, and Triple Rotary mode. This is the one most people will want to use, but it will chew through ammo like no one's business. You've got Gatling mode, Very fast rate of fire. The alt fire increases it even more. And you can kind of control how much ammunition you're using at any given moment. If you swap to chain gun mode, that is a slower rate of fire, and of course you can get the barrel rotating and increase that rate of fire. So basically what these different modes represent are ways of giving you control over how much ammunition you're pouring out of this thing at any given time, so that you can tune exactly how much damage you want to do, and more accurately, how much ammunition you want to either spend or conserve. Next up is the revamped Plasma Zombie. He has a bunch of new attacks, and he leads his shots, and yeah, he's probably going to kill me right here. Okay, so you saw that. He has a little stun thingy. You'll also notice he's leading his shots, so if I just run in one direction... Oh, he's got the stun grenade. So you're like zigzag, he's not going to shoot. Ah, see, he led that shot there. Oh, there you go. That was pretty cool. So you'll notice he has a whole bunch of new attacks. He also has a bunch of new death animations. But this is a much more dangerous customer than we are used to. But anyways, though you cannot tell per se, the code has been completely rewritten from the back end, and that will allow us to make a lot of updates to many of the enemies you've come to know and love and hate. And the idea being that we want to start adding in some more flavor for these guys. The last two features I wanted to mention were the HUD and the PDA. You're looking at the HUD right now, but it is nowhere near done. We've got a lot planned for it. And the idea is that you don't have to go out and get your own HUD. Now, you should still be able to, but we wanted to give you an option in case you didn't want to do that legwork. The PDA, on the other hand, is nowhere near done. This is more of a proof of concept, showing you that you can click on stuff and show information, but this is something that's going to require a lot more work. What it will have is a whole bunch of information on weapons and enemies, but it is not going to be in a finished state for quite some time. But it should be pretty cool when it's done. So I wanted to wrap up with some big picture talk and a featured add-on to Project Brutality that I think you'll want to see. Big picture stuff. We're wrapping up the weapons phase and moving on into the enemies phase. That's not to say that we're not going to do any more work on the weapons. Certainly some of them are buggy, but we do have some overhauls planned for a couple of the weapons. That being said, the primary focus will be on the enemies and making them more versatile, essentially trying to add to the Project Brutality universe we're trying to create here. What that looks like is trying to give them more features that make them stand out and be distinguishable in their tiers or in their categories. That way you get a more rich gaming experience when you go ahead and play this with your favorite WADs. With that being said, of course, if you have any thoughts or feedback, please join the Discord. Tell us about bugs, tell us about your favorite things, tell us about things you hate, because we love hearing from you, and it really does influence what we put into the game. So stop on by. I'll have a link in the description below. With that, I am also excited to tell you about a featured add-on. So I've got it installed right now. If I go here to Give All, you'll notice I have this guy. The featured add-on is the HMG. It basically just puts in the old HMG, and it behaves exactly like you would expect. It also has its old alt fire, which is the nail gun, which at this point is a little superfluous considering I went ahead and, built a whole nail gun. But yeah, so the nail gun we've got here was intended to replace the HMG while giving you far more interesting options. I mean, you've got the nail gun you can just shoot. You can lean on the trigger for a while and it will heat up, and that will do a little bit different damage. Here we go. Don't know if you can tell, but this will do a little bit more damage, I think. You can also hit the alt fire, and that will give a shotgun burst, which is pretty cool. You also have the ability to shoot these, what are they called, javelins out. And of course, you can also electrify them, and they'll do even more damage. So I personally prefer this weapon, but I totally understand that some people do not want to say goodbye to certain weapons, and that's okay. How do I say goodbye? And that's all I got for you today, folks. Thank you for joining me in this dev diary. I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, be good, be safe, be kind to each other. I'll see you in the next one.